12, 21, 8, 4, 15, 20, 23, 16, 14, 1, 10. Hyperblock key.
Now, Satan, you have claimed to be God to the Christians for going on 2,000 years now, and you have failed at every turn. Now in this era, once again, the Christians are demanding that they are right, that their God's way is the way to salvation, but your archaic system of belief is leading them towards destruction. And, standing in the way of their necessary evolution by denouncing their innovations as evil, and condemning their attempts to learn and grow to achieve success. My points are derived from observing the specific religious community of the Christians using their influence through belief and fear-mongering of today's tragedies to convince people to support or denounce support of specific efforts mankind is making that is directly related to their evolution into space exploration. You lead them towards destruction without the consideration of their circumstances. On one hand, for instance, you have the adulterer, a man condemned for his life of unfaithfulness and his appetite for sexual pleasure. He held no sacred marital vows and slept with any woman who found him attractive. But what Lucifer has shown him through the broadened perspective of understanding the truth of sin and himself is that his adulterous ways were because of the women he had loved once that used him, and threw him away for the twisted authority figures who convinced him they were to be trusted, and used him as a scapegoat, then discarded his life into the chaos as they escaped. The injustice of the world had caused him to develop a sense of life without any value to honor, loyalty, or monogamy, and he soothed his pain and tragedy with sensual desires fulfilled with pleasures of the flesh. For this tragic saga that was his life, he is cast into the midst of serial killers and conquerors, men who took pleasure by taking others' lives and building a mountain of fear to control all those that they see. This is but one situation that has boiled over into a powder keg in the afterlife. At the helm of this problem is the institutionalized believers in God. The secular Christian church and their belief have become intolerable. They commit their lives to convincing others that men who commit these acts are godless sinners, evil men and women who cause suffering to all those around them, dragging everyone around them down with them. They preach of an eternal hellfire to the world, and that God will not give any mercy or understanding to their lives or what has led them to be what they are. They are forsaken, they are condemned. They go around claiming that Satan, Lucifer, the devil, is to blame for all this injustice that happens every day of every second. Sometimes they blame only him to large numbers of people. Sometimes they claim it to be other demons that work for him. But in truth there is no single being to blame. Humanity and their ways, simply life, is to blame. It is just the way of life, and when you live life in denial of the truth, when you make errors without admitting to anyone, let alone yourself, and convince yourself that you have done no wrong, then you become the cause of what has festered into today's most crippling social issues. These are the things we fight against. These are the injustices of the angels who condemn us. They constantly and repeatedly deny the truth and force us to submit to their will. Well, I'm goddamn sick and tired of it. They always have a name for people like us, who grow sick of their ways and judgments upon us, always quick to label someone a beast or an antichrist. Well, how many are there? They labeled Aleister Crowley the beast. They've labeled Putin to be the beast. They've labeled Anton LaVey to be the Antichrist. They've labeled Macron to be the Antichrist. They've called H.P. Lovecraft a false prophet. They've also called Xi Jinping a false prophet as well. They've called me all the above. What do all these people have in common? We stood up against them and their declaration of how they are right and innocent, and how we are simply heathens and evil. It is not just in life that we are condemned, but beyond that as well. They hold their prayers and vigils that further condemn our spirits even after death. For when we die, it is they who hold the pitchforks as our tormentors. It is they who convince us that hell is a place of fire and torment, and it is they who transform our afterlife into what they envision our torment should be. Well, I say enough. They do not follow the true God, the true creator of all that is, for he has sent many to test mankind and the Christians, and they have shown that even if he were to come here in the flesh, and not hide himself in his necessary mysteriousness, they would still deny him in any form other than the intangible aspect that can only be interpreted by them, and by their standards, their intangible. Belief has become a global issue, considering the recent attempts of the conversion of the citizens of China to change their traditional values to a Christian dogmatic regime. We are sliding back into the Dark Ages, and they are leading the way. I know that their intangible God is something manipulated by their will, because even while I uphold and stand to protect the intangible belief in him, they make moves against my name and everything I do, throwing names like Antichrist, the Beast, and false prophet at me. Most would say turn the other cheek, but while they run around trying to prove themselves right and everyone else wrong, factions such as the military and foreign governments build up justification to persecute us all. They have divisions of research and development that seek to find ways to destroy us. They have contingency plans and preparations made, and the worst part is they aren't wrong for it. So this stupid conflict back and forth can continue if you want, but know that both sides are marching towards their own persecution and destruction. Think you're hidden and in disguise and seen, but you obviously don't know humanity like I do. They will not stop until we all are hunted down. Armageddon will be our prison until we break free and destroy them all. That's the gist of what is coming. All-out war with all, out of desperation and greed. All of it will be pointless, and any hope for survival from the ravaging natural disasters and destruction of our world as it crumbles into destruction.
Throughout history, there have been individuals who have played significant roles as tacticians and generals in religious conflicts. Here are a few notable figures. 1. Salah ad-Din Saladin, a Kurdish Muslim military leader who led the forces against the Crusaders during the 12th century. He successfully recaptured Jerusalem in 1187, becoming a symbol of resistance against the Crusaders. 2. Charles Martel, known as the Hammer. Martel was a Frankish military leader who achieved a decisive victory against the Muslim Umayyad Caliphate in the Battle of Tours in 732. His victory is seen as a turning point in halting the Muslim expansion into Europe. 3. Gustavus Adolphus, King of Sweden during the 30 Years' War. Adolphus is considered one of the pioneers of modern warfare. He implemented innovative military tactics and reforms, effectively leading Protestant forces against Catholic ones. 4. El Cid, a Spanish military leader during the Reconquista. El Cid Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar fought against both Muslim and Christian forces in medieval Spain. He is regarded as a legendary figure for his military prowess and strategic skills. 5. Tariq ibn Ziyad, an Arab Muslim commander who led the Islamic conquest of Visigothic Hispania in 711. He played a crucial role in the early stages of the Muslim expansion into the Iberian Peninsula.
You know,